Hey guys, how's it going? Just have another review here for you today. So this time, rather than reviewing a car today, I'm actually going to review my personal mountain bike. I do live here in the great state of Utah, so I am a big outdoor fan, adventurer. I do a lot of mountain biking, so if you continue to watch the channel, you're going to see a lot more content on mountain bikes. So I figured it would be proper here today, starting out the channel where it's relatively new, is going over my personal bike, breaking it down, and telling you a little bit about it, and like I said, doing a review. So without any further ado, I did want to introduce this video as well as this bike. This is my personal bike. Like I said, it is a 2015 Specialized Status 2 mountain downhill race bike. It's a phenomenal bike. If you hang with me till the end, I'm going to go over all the features, components, and specs of this bike and kind of break it down and give it my thoughts after a couple months of ownership. So come with me and we'll get started. Alright guys, thanks for watching today's video like I mentioned earlier. So here we are today. I'm just going to go over some of the specs and break this bike down, tell you my honest opinion and whatnot on this particular bike. I do have the spec sheet pulled up from Specialized on my computer right here, so I'm going to go over all the specs directly from the manufacturer. So there shouldn't be any wish-wash or anything in the specs. It should be straight from the manufacturer, so it should be perfect. So like I mentioned earlier, I'll say it once again, this is a 2015 model. Now the 2015 model, it only came in this, there's two different colors. There's the black and then there's a white and blue color as well. I have the black and yellow. I like it a little bit better. So there is, like I said, it's the Status 2. There's a Status 1, but this is a Status 2. So unfortunately, I did come to find out that recently they have discontinued this bike, so they don't even make this bike anymore. They do still make parts and everything like that for the bike, but unfortunately they have discontinued it, which kind of sucks because I honestly do like this bike quite a bit. So like I said, 2015 Specialized Status 2. It is a downhill bike, so it's specially made for downhill riding, for jumps, for tricks, for downhill, all that kind of stuff. That's what it's designed for. So starting up front there, we do have, this is mounted on 26-inch tires. So it has the 26-inch tires. Are pretty knobby, they're nice. I do have some upgraded wheels on mine, the actual rims. So I won't go into that because this is just going to be a manufacturer review, so just ignore that. But moving forward to the actual brakes, these are the SRAM Guide R metallic brakes. They are 200 millimeters in the front. The rotors are 200 millimeters in the front, and hopefully you can see back here kind of, they are 180 millimeters in the back. So the front's going to be bigger than the back, of course, just like normal braking. The front tires are a little bit bigger. I did mention they're 26-inch tires. They're 2.5 inches in diameter in the front, and back in the back we're at 2.3 inches in the rear. Moving up to the fork on this bike, so it has a pretty massive fork, as you'll notice. It is a downhill bike. It is the double crown. This particular bike has the RockShox Boxer on it. Now this is the Boxer RC, so it is one of RockShox's highest end forks that they make, and it is especially downhill. So it could be compared to the Fox 40, or the Fox Float 40, because it is the dual crown fork. I do like it a lot. There's tons of travel. That one has 100, not 100, that one has 200 millimeters of travel, just like the front brakes. It's a 200 millimeter fork. I do have the soft springs in it right now, just for some sponginess, which I do like a lot. Moving up, go over the brakes, or I did mention the brakes. The calipers, or the Guard R calipers, and the brake levers, that's what I was thinking of. They are still the Guide R. They're an alloy lever, and they do have adjustable reaching, and they are hydraulic brakes, of course, because it's a downhill bike. So continuing to move, it is an aluminum frame. It is a little bit heavier. It's a 2015 model, so it's a couple years old by now, but it is a quite heavy bike. A lot of the new downhill bikes are a little bit lighter, but it is a downhill bike, so it's going to be heavy no matter what, because it's designed to go down the hill, not up the hill. So personal opinion, it is a little heavy. I do love this bike a lot, but one personal gripe I have is it is very heavy. So loading on top of a car or any sort of incline is extremely hard because it's very heavy. Even kind of whipping the bike around a little bit in the air, it's definitely doable and it's easy, but it is on the heavier side, so you do have to work a little bit harder on that. Moving back here to the center shock, let me find where that's at. It is a Fox shock in the rear here. It is the Fox Van RC. Now it is a coil piggyback spring, and it measures in 8 3/4 inch by 2 3/4 inch. So it's a big shock in the back, plenty of travel. Moving down here, we'll go over the chain. It is the SRAM PG 971 9-speed with the power link, as well as the cassette is the same, the SRAM PG 950 9-speed of course, and it is an 11/28 tooth. So those are some of the specs that I wanted to show you. I don't want you to get completely bored with it, because I did kind of go over a lot of information, and if you don't know all those products and components very well, then you're not going to have any idea what I'm talking about. So if you want to come forward here, we'll go over this a little bit more, get you a better look at it. So this is the bike itself. I do love this bike. I did mention earlier in the video, I've owned this for about 4.5 months now. Bought it at the end of winter time, so I got a good deal on it. I've been riding it quite a bit. Right now I've been riding it more on the jumps, on the slopes, so like a true downhill bike. It does extremely well with the suspension. I have absolutely no gripes with the suspension. I love it. It's very soft, very playful, very planted to the ground. One gripe I do have that I will say is the brakes on this one. I did talk to the bike shop just because they were squeaking a little bit and I didn't like the squeak in them. And they just said just the way it's designed with the actual caliper and where the holes are mounted, when the heat compresses on that caliper, it just does it produces a sound. So with this bike you do get a lot of brake noise, a lot of squeakage, which is normal for a bike and for a car itself, but this one just seems a little excessive to me. I've owned quite a few bikes. So that's one of my personal gripes. Tires are good, have no gripes there, but honestly I really don't have too many gripes with this. Weight's a gripe, it's a little heavy, and the brakes are a little squeaky, that I don't like. Other than that, I think it's a phenomenal bike. It handles extremely well, and it performs, it stays planted to the ground. Like I mentioned, very soft, very playful. So those are just some of my thoughts here on this bike itself. Like I said, I don't want this video to drag out too long, so I will kind of wrap up the video here. 2015 Specialized Status 2 mountain downhill race bike. I love it. If you have the chance to check out one of these bikes, find one used, I definitely recommend it. I would probably rate it right now as an 8 out of a 10. I haven't had too many other experience with other downhill bikes, so I'm still kind of getting into it, but so far I love the bike. Of course, you're going to find things that you don't love about every product, but I give it a 9 out of 10 on my rating. So like I said, go check it out, go hit the slopes, and go have fun.